live streaming my commentary to the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. This is only 3 races left after this one in the NASCAR schedule. So going to be live today, commentating the whole thing. I also got the F1 race pulled up on my iPad down here, a little bit on the camera. So I'll also be monitoring you guys on any updates that has to do with that. But yeah. So you guys can put in the chat who your pick is to win. If you're tuning in after the live stream's ended, I appreciate you checking out my stream. Yeah, right now we're under the pace laps for the Cup Series race at Kansas. So I just got the F1 race pulled up on my iPad down here, trying to watch the first couple laps of that.
While you were chatting with him, and it's also the QR code on the hood and the quarter bell. All right, let's go to pit road. We'll start with Dylan Welch.
It's been an abysmal last 2 weeks for Martin Truex Jr.
Guys, I may have to try and scan the hood of that 96 car, because if you scan that car, you get a free hoodie for $1. I wonder if it's just black or what, but there's actually a decent design on there. That's kind of cool. Yeah, still on the opening pace laps. I got the 2 TVs. We got the Cup Series race over here. We got the F1 race down here. I'm watching F1 on TV and NASCAR on my tablet. S2 Robotics, I've got like the inverse of that. I know it's kind of annoying that they somehow timed them up to be at the same time. I feel like it'd been so much better if they could have F1 at like 2 and like NASCAR at 4. Just that way they would have been like offset. But good afternoon, Matt. Appreciate anybody watching, guys. Drop a like if you haven't already. The Hamilton's still leading over Verstappen and Perez in the USGP. Got that pulled up on my tablet down here. We got the leaderboard up here. Oh, my bad, guys. Here we go. There we go. But appreciate you guys watching. Oh, so yeah, right now in the USGP, we got a lot of guys making some pretty early stops to put on the hard tire compound, it seems, because it's really hot out there in Texas today. Guys, if you don't know anything about F1, just ignore some of my F1 comments. Once the race gets underway, I won't really be talking about the F1 race at all, but we're still under the opening pace laps for the NASCAR race at Kansas. I'm excited for this one. Hopefully we'll see some action, maybe a late lease restart like we saw in the spring. We got a competition caution at lap 20. Both stage 1 and stage 2 are 80 laps, and the final stage is 107. The fuel window is about 65 laps, so you're going to have to pit in every stage for fuel. But, yeah, the lights are out in the pace car, so we'll be going green next time by. Hamilton trying to get that gap to Verstappen over a second, so he'll be on DRS range. He's getting closer. I think he's finally starting to gap Verstappen just a bit. That was an amazing race start by Hamilton in that F1 race. He had to really get around. I mean, Verstappen, I thought Verstappen and Hamilton were going to crash going up to turn 1. That was honestly an amazing start by Hamilton. I am confused though that they have the P1 start position on the outside. It's like outside of turn 1. That almost makes like the P2 start position better than the P1 start position. Yeah, Bottas in the F1 race has not made up any ground either, but appreciate you guys watching. Pit lights. So it's going to be Larson on the outside, Blaney on the inside on this initial start. And then you're going to have Kyle Busch pushing Larson and Keselowski pushing Hamlin. So Keselowski pushing Blaney. I don't know where I got Hamlin from. But, yeah. So, yeah, guys, you want to put in the chat who your pick is to win for today's race at Kansas, feel free to do so. Okay, here they come through the Geico restart zone. Oh, a little swirly by Larson and Blaney at the jump, but everything's going to get underway here down to turn 1. The outside lane's got the edge. Larson's getting a good shove from Kyle Busch and Hamlin on that outside line. But Blaney's going to be fighting back on the inside. I don't know if Larson will quite clear him yet. Nope, Blaney gets a surge back on the inside off the exit of turn 2. They're still side by side down the back straightaway. Blaney may be slightly out in front, but now Kyle Busch gives a good shove to Larson down the back straightaway. Larson's just going to have his nose out in front of Blaney through turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide for second. And Larson is still not yet. He clears Blaney off turn 4, and Larson's going to lead the first lap at the stripe. And they're 3 wide for third. Keselowski, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, they narrow things down as they get down to turns 1 and 2. Larson and Blaney got a bit of a gap now to third, but they're battling hard behind him. Now Keselowski clears that battle for third place, and Hamlin's going to drop back to 6th, it seems, as we now go down to turns 3 and 4. Keselowski trying to make move on the inside of Blaney through turns 3 and 4. Oh, and they're 3 wide for 4th. Man, that is close. Hamlin, Logano, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon up in that battle. Austin Dillon's had a good restart. He's all the way up to about 5th place now. Oh, somebody is slow on the apron. I'm not sure who that is. Yikes. I think that's Quinn Howe. They got an issue. That may be a caution. But Keselowski now up to 2nd, closing in on Larson right now in the early stages of this race. Man, Keselowski's still getting in that draft of Larson down the front straightaway. Man, there's a lot of battles everywhere here still. Only 4 laps complete so far. Got some guys riding the wall already. It looks like Byron and Bell at the track. Now Keselowski looking the inside of Larson in turns 3 and 4. Larson's going to slide down, kind of block the clean air off his nose. Larson's led every lap so far. We got 5 laps complete. But now the top 5 or top 8 are all single file. McLeod and Half are on pit road early in this thing. They seem to be having issues mechanically or something. They didn't get fired off the bat. All the Hendrick guys doing a salute to Ricky Hendrick here on lap 5, all standing up, turning their hats backwards in honor of Ricky Hendrick, who died tragically 17 years ago today. Man, Keselowski really trying to work a bunch of different lines to try and get around Kyle Larson. Oh, slow car gets in the way of Hamlin. Hamlin has to move up the track. That's going to cost him a couple spots. Now he's under attack from Byron and Elliott down the front straightaway. Now Byron's really working that outside. He's going to get a 2-for-1 going around the outside. Oh, Kyle Busch gets loose on the inside of Chase Elliott. He has to check up just a bit. I thought he was about to go around for a second, but he's able to keep that one corralled. But Kyle Larson's still being chased by both Keselowski and Blaney. Those Penske cars are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, all chasing Larson, who's in first right now. They all seem to have some real pace right now today. Penske's really looking to get at least one, get one of their cars locked into Phoenix today with a win. Yeah, Keselowski all over the bumper of Larson down the back straightaway. He's only tailing him by about less than like 2/10. As they run, Keselowski's 3 to the good over Kyle Busch. Yeah, Keselowski really turning on the jets here late in the season, all over the bumper of Larson. Had a solid run in the top 5 most of last week, and now looking to have some early speed already in this one. Still early in this race, though. A lot can happen. Now he's trying to work the high side. As they run, Blaney's 27 to the good, Hamlin 10 to the good, Keselowski 6 to the good, Kyle Busch 6 to the bad, Elliott 8 to the bad, Truex 31 to the bad, and Logano 34 to the bad. There are definitely some clouds in the distance, so I don't know how much of a threat rain is, but possible precipitation in the area. Oh, it's raining. There's some rain going on the track as I say that. We'll have to see if they bring out the L for rain here in a second. Oh, yeah, you can see there's some dark clouds. And there, I believe that's the caution is going to be coming out for rain here. Just as things get underway, the caution is out for rain. Now the caution is out. Now I have to see what this caution does for rain. Are we gonna? Is this gonna? I wonder how long are we gonna be under caution here, because it looks like it's just a bit of a shower, but they're definitely gonna have to dry off turns 1 and 2. It looks like for now. So yeah, now the caution is out for rain at lap 10. Now I don't know if they're going to keep these guys out on the track for a couple laps or bring them down on pit road just yet, because it looks like just a slight shower, so you don't know. Yeah, definitely gonna. This shower will probably be over in like 5 minutes. I mean, it's not gonna be raining too heavy. It looks like just a small front seems to be moving across the track. Chase Elliott has some clutch moments in his career. Well, he may have to. He's gonna have to clutch up today at Martinsville to get to the Final Four. But yeah, there's definitely some dark clouds hanging over turns 1 and 2 right now, just moving through. They're still got the cars out on track. So you can see the rain on the windshields, and you just want to make sure it doesn't go over the entirety of the track, because that may take a bit longer to dry off. But you guys want to put in the chat who your pick is to win today. I may end up changing over to the F1 race if this rain tends to be a pervasive problem. And also in the F1 race, Verstappen's gotten around Hamlin for that lead, but currently under caution for rain. Hopefully this doesn't last too long.
I definitely think Cota is an adult flavor. Listen, the kids have their drink. Yeah, I get my you know, espresso. You think that's tough? Yes, I do.
Hold on 1 second, ladies and gents. But yeah, guys. So currently under caution still for the caution rain here early in this thing. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it doesn't go on for too long. Quinn Houff was the free pass for this caution. I don't know what happened, if there was any damage or they just both had mechanical issues, but both Quinn Houff and Beecher McLeod had come down pit road like on lap 2 of this race. So I'm not sure why that is, but so far Larson's led every lap. He's been hounded by the 3 Penske cars who are in 2nd through 3rd. But guys, if you have the broadcast on your screen, I guess you may want to scan the code on Parker Kligerman's 96 car. You can get a $1 hoodie if you do that. I'm going to try that out right now and see if the hoodie is actually like anything special or it's just like a black hoodie or something. Oh, and Pierre Gasly in the F1 race, slow on track. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that thing going or not. Doesn't seem to have power. He's just coasting, it looks like, down the long back straightaway at Cota. But yeah, now we're just going to check. I want to see if that Parker Kligerman thing actually, like, Parker Kligerman. Man, Kansas car. Is there? I want to see it. This. What's this $1 hoodie thing? I'm trying to see this $1 hoodie thing for Parker Kligerman's Kansas car today. But yeah, still under caution for rain. I don't know if their red flag is not out yet, so they're still turning some laps. Or no, they brought in the guys down pit road now officially. So they're parked on pit road now. They don't seem to have any tarps down over the cars just yet. But yeah, we'll definitely have to keep tabs on this. So yeah, currently under caution for rain, or well, under red flag for rain at Kansas. Should be a brief shower.
6.8 points below that cut line. We can chat with Parker Kligerman. They brought the field down to pit road. There was a little bit harder shower with the commercial break, and so they brought him down. We want to chat with Parker.
Hey, Parker, did you still got your shoes on? I do. I know it's only been 12 laps, but what's been a good standout so far? Oh, man, I'm just, I'm kind of a little pivot there to start.
Okay, I'm trying to get this $1 hoodie from the QR code that's all over Parker Kligerman's car. Fastco dot hoodie, it says on his hood. Fast. Oh, I see. Fast dot co.
Do you know what all of those switches do? I don't, man. I've got so many things in here. I've got, cool suits and the helmet cam and the camera.
Bro, it's not. It doesn't work.
Go get that, $1 hoodie if you haven't already seen that. Get that from that checkout. But there's a lot going on here, so I definitely have a lot to do. As you know, sometimes there's so many things that are new. You're just trying to kind of consume it like through almost like trying to take it off through a fire hose. So it's a lot to consume in a short order, but hopefully I can get going quick. So, watching from the booth over the last couple of years, I've noticed that the race.
So, guys, currently under rain delay in the Cup Series race. If you want me to in the chat, I'm just going to start commentating that F1 race a bit here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always tell people the most intense race you'll ever do in your entire life is, that 25th off back at Martinsville Cup Series because so there won't be drivers. All right, I'll get down. I've got to get out here too. Anyway, you're right because it is.
Well, yes, they got it. So they're having the guys get down their cars. So, yeah, that's definitely not a great sign. Hopefully things will be going green here again soon.
Not like he arrived too fast and ran wide, is it? There was a point there where the Alpine was sort of not really quite turning. I'm also been disappointed that Alonso didn't try and get that place back. The guy was trying together.
So, guys, believe it or not, I think I may end up having to put this thing on pause because, yeah, now I guess the Cup Series race is under rain delay temporarily. So, may have to just switch over to F1. Yeah, guys, so we're just going to switch this thing over to the F1 race and just retitle the stream and put up a different thumbnail. So, yeah, guys, we're just switching this over to the F1 race because, yeah, I guess the NASCAR race is just going to be not postponed, but under rain delay for at least another 15 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, it seems. So,
I think it's a good one from Lewis and an average one from us. So I've got all the info on it. That's pretty good. Are you going to be watching intently the final closing stages of this race? Do you feel that those 3 laps could prove crucial? The 3 laps that you came in earlier. Well, there's a long way to go. It's like a championship this race. So let's see how the strategies play out over the second half. But you can rest assured there's not much between the teams.
so just working on this really quick because we're switching this thing over to the F1 race now, I guess, because NASCAR's got a rain delay. So yeah, now we're left one race, baby. I guess that's how things are going. There we go. Now we're left one GP, guys, because NASCAR's under rain delay. And now with 19 laps complete of the 56, Max Verstappen holds a 6-second lead over Hamilton. And then it's 5 seconds back from Hamilton to Perez. And then about 10 seconds back to Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Tsunoda, Bottas round out your top 10. Only one DNF so far, and that is Pierre Gasly had some sort of mechanical failure. So yeah, now we're just doing the USGP. So let's just rock with the guys until the NASCAR race goes green again. Yeah, Verstappen just slowly pulling away over Hamilton right now. 20 laps complete. Tsunoda being pursued by Bottas down to turn 12. Bottas going to try and go around the outside. It looks like Tsunoda is going to take a bit of defensive line. Bottas going to cross him over, though, off the exit, and he's going to get that pass complete. Bottas up to 8th now. Now he's got a 14-second gap to Norris in 7th. So Bottas got a lot of ground to make up, but the Mercedes have definitely shown more pace than the Ferraris and the McLarens this weekend. So I think with 35 laps to go in this thing, he'll still be able to pick up quite a bit of ground. And possibly through the next set of pit stops, he'll be able to make up some spots, maybe get back up to the top 5. So we'll have to see. Wow, 400,000 fans have attended the USGP this weekend. That is crazy. So now we'll have to see if any other players join Gasly in the garage, because that would actually allow some guys, it would especially allow the Alfa Romeo guys to pick up some points possibly this weekend. Raikkonen in 10th and Gio in 11th. With already one competitive car in the garage. So Hamilton and Verstappen, the gap's growing slightly and more slightly. I mean, well, now it's down to about under 6 seconds. So I don't know. It's still a pretty big gap though. So Hamilton's really going to need something to go his way to come out in top at Cota. Right now we're watching Fernando Alonso making a move on Gio, but he way oversends it into turn 12. He's still side by side with him, though. He really overran that turn. But now here he comes. He's going to get that pass complete. For now, Gio gets pretty sideways. Fernando now up to 11th. Now, next car up for him will be Raikkonen, and then he'll crack back into the points after what's been a tough weekend so far for Fernando Alonso. But yeah, he sent it in way too hot into turn 12, trying to dive bomb Gio at the end of that long back straightaway. Yeah, that did not work out for Fernando as he imagined, but he still got the pass complete.
Three drivers to finish every race in 2021. Not overly happy with it. It's Danny Ricciardo ahead of Carlos Sainz and then DRS for Sainz down that back straight.
Now, the gap is down to 5.5 seconds between Verstappen and Hamilton, but that's still Hamilton still has a lot of ground to make up to get closer to Verstappen. Now, Ricciardo being pursued by Sainz for that 5th position. Ricciardo passed Sainz in the initial start, but now it looks like Sainz is looking to get back in front of him. Ferrari seems to have just a slight more amount of pace than McLaren this weekend. As the Ferraris, if Sainz gets this pass complete, it'll be Ferraris in P4 and P5 and McLaren's in P6 and P7. That dive bomb Alonso pulled off on Gio is now being under investigation by the stewards. I don't think anything will come of that. I don't think there'll be a penalty. Who do you think will win the race this afternoon? In the F1 race, I kind of want Hamilton to win, but I believe Verstappen will most likely pull it off. But the other thing is that in the US race, in the NASCAR race, I want Kyle Larson to win. And not Kyle Larson, I would not mind Brad Keselowski winning. So
the race director, Alan Permain, sporting director at Alpine. Yeah, that's Alan trying to head off what he thinks is coming next. But they're different circumstances. Yeah. So it's okay.
So now,
but Kimi was forced wide by Fernando in the first place. Fernando wasn't necessarily forced wide by Giovinazzi. He was a steward by
So now for Fernando Alonso is definitely, Fernando Alonso may get a penalty here. Definitely some slight contact between Alonso and I believe it's Raikkonen. I'm not quite sure now at this point, but as they run, Verstappen is going to have a 14-point lead after this race over Hamilton if things stay as they are. If he finishes this race as the winner and Hamilton comes home P2. Now Hamilton's gotten the gap down to almost under 5 seconds now, but even though he's chewing into that lead, he's going to need to pick up the pace even more if he wants to get closer to Verstappen. I mean, in the last, 4 laps, he's knocked down about 1.5 seconds. So that pace, he would possibly, and his laps are only his tires are only 3 laps fresher. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see if they balance out as the run gets longer, if he stops gaining ground.
Is this Hamilton finding a bit more pace on his side to 3 laps pressure?
But looks like Mazepin is still yet to make a stop in this race. But yeah, we're past the halfway point in this race now, officially. And Hamilton's pulling in that gap to Verstappen more and more. Now it's under 4.8. And he's pulling on Verstappen, and he's also pulling away from Perez. Perez, it was a 6-second gap not too long ago, and now it's almost 9 seconds. But yeah, guys, right now I'm streaming the F1 race because the NASCAR race is under rain delay. For anybody wondering. So Alonso has been forced to give Gio the position back after making slight contact with him, while making the pass. It was either give the position back or a 5-second penalty, and he gave the position back. I assume he'll be able to get that position back soon. Alonso seems to have more pace than both the Alfa Romeos who are in front of him right now, but just been a tough weekend for the Alpines. All right, in the first lap, Ocon got some damage, and he had to make an unscheduled pit stop. He's back in P17. Alonso's had a couple incidents this weekend already in the practices. He had to go to the rear for the start of this race. He's in P12 at the moment. So now it's down to under 4.5 seconds. The gap from Verstappen to Hamilton. Hamilton's pulling in slightly, about a couple of tenths every lap. And Sainz keeps catching up to Ricciardo, but he can't quite get close enough to complete the pass. He's still about slightly over a second back. He's not quite in DRS range yet. And now here comes Fernando Alonso trying to make a dive bomb on Gio again in turn 12. Oh, that's close. Gio goes wide, but he comes back out. He has the position still through turn 13. Oh, he's going to slide up in front. Fernando's going to try and cross him over through turns 14 and 15. They get close again. Oh, through turn 15 and 16. Gio's going to hold the position for now, but now, once again, the crossover from Fernando around the outside. He's going to have to concede that spot. He'll make another run at it, though, in a second. Fernando definitely has more pace than Gio at the moment, but not able to complete the pass that time. It was really good driving by both drivers. Keep that was close. So, oh boy, yeah. So the yellow flag seems to be back. The rain after the rain delay in the NASCAR race. So I don't know. Should I finish this race or go to the NASCAR race, guys? I'm feeling like finishing this one. So now Gio gives the position back to Alonso. Now Gio's being pursued by Russell and Vettel, who are not too far behind him. Well, Vettel's all over the bumper of Russell. He'll be looking to get around both Russell and Gio here soon. Both Aston Martins also have had a bit of issues early in this race. They'll be looking to maybe get back into the bottom half of the top 10, maybe pick up some points. Vettel and Stroll in 14th and 15 right now. Now it looks like Vettel going around the outside of Russell through turns 16, 17. Oh, man, that thing is flying, and he's going to get that pass done through turn 19. Vettel up to P13, and the next car in front of him is Gio, who is only about a second and a half ahead of him. But yeah, now the gap from Verstappen to Hamilton under 3 seconds. Hamilton will definitely maybe get close soon. Probably in the next couple laps, it'll be down to under maybe 2 seconds, 1 second. Won't be long before he's in DRS range. Last lap, Hamilton was over a half a second quicker than Verstappen. So each of the last 4 laps, Hamilton's been at least 4 tenths quicker than Verstappen. So yeah, at that pace, he'll probably catch Verstappen, or at least be in DRS range in the next 4 or 5 laps. But other than them, they've got over a 10-second gap to third place Perez. And now Gio's getting hauled on by Vettel for the 12th position. Gio going in the wrong direction right now. Oh, and now Gio comes into pit road. Definitely not a terrible decision there. He was losing some ground. Want to put some new tires on that thing, kind of get the driver cooled off a bit, stop battling other guys, and just put down some fast laps. And then once the pit cycle falls through, he should be able to, maybe gain some ground that way. Oh, virtual safety car out current at the moment. The virtual safety car is out. And so there's a piece of debris in the middle of what looks to be turns 15 or 16, it looks like. Oh, you're going to see, you probably will see some people pit here. Oh, and the green flag's back out. Now we'll see what the gap looks like after this virtual safety car has been lifted. Perez is saying that his drink system is not working. He cannot have the drink. Yeah, definitely on a hot day today, like today, for Perez, you definitely don't want to not have any water system. Now we're past halfway in the race, guys. I don't know. I said we were past halfway earlier. I was being dumb. I was completely off. Now it's 3.2. That virtual safety car really hurt Hamilton because he got in behind a lapped car of Gio, not Gio. And also, just for that matter, there are 14 cars on the lead lap still. And honestly, at this pace, they may lap up into the top 10. Verstappen and Hamilton just pulling away from the field right now. The next car they would have to battle, or well, not really battle, that's a lap car, would be Stroll. But yeah, already just from the start of this lap to now, Hamilton's closes the gap down to almost under 3 seconds. Now, Stroll looking to make a move on Russell for the 13th position. After a rough start for Stroll, spinning on the first turn. After getting bumped into by Latifi, nothing of Stroll's doing, mainly Latifi getting boxed in by the Haas cars. Alonso's into pit from the 11th position. That was a good stop by Alonso. Now here come the Red Bull guys are out. And who's in? Verstappen's into pit from the lead. Is this going to be a clean pit stop? A bit slow. Or no, it's still just 2.8. So not that slow. Just maybe a tenth or two off. So, and Perez gets by his teammate Verstappen under that pit cycle. The pit window is open for the two-stop strategy, though, at the moment. But yeah, right now, Hamilton Oh, one of the Ferraris are going to be Sainz is into pit now from the 6th position. Now 26 laps to go still in this race. And now Verstappen, I believe, is going to be going around his teammate Perez here after he got that DRS down the long back straightaway, and Verstappen's back up to 2nd place. So we'll have to see. Now Verstappen back up to 2nd ahead of his teammate Perez. And Hamilton now has put down the fastest lap of the race. Well, that seems to really be showing that he has some pace, considering that his tires are about 10, 11 laps old. He finally has fresh air, though. And now Perez is into pit from the 3rd position. That was a really clean stop by Perez, 2.4. He's going to drop back to 4th position, I believe. And Ricciardo's into pit from the 5th position. And Ricciardo and Norris are both into pit this time. Ricciardo has a 2.7 second stop, pretty clean. And Norris's stop, a 4.2, so a little slow for Norris. That's not what those McLarens want. Now, after a slow stop by the McLaren of Norris, he'll be definitely a bit closer to who's behind him. Tsunoda would be the first guy behind him to be making a pass. Still 19 cars in this race. Only one DNF, which is Gasly. He had some sort of mechanical issue. Yeah, Verstappen is 16 seconds back from Hamilton, so it's going to be close. If Hamilton can continue to put down some quick laps, he may be able to pit and come out ahead of Verstappen. It's going to be close, though. Right now, it's 16.6 seconds.
That he had from the first round of pit stops. But how much longer does he want to go? 6 laps to target, wouldn't it?
Right now, Verstappen's pulling in closer and closer on Hamilton. And as they are right now, Hamilton would come out 3 seconds behind Verstappen after his pit stop. But the thing is after, on the last run, this run, Hamilton is closed in on Verstappen as the runs progressed by about a half a second a lap. And Verstappen's going to have to stretch it a long ways on the current set of tires he has. So you could definitely see towards the end of the race, Hamilton possibly catching up to Verstappen after his pit stop and maybe getting that lead back with his fresher tires and more pace. So yeah, you can see it. So right now, Lewis seems to be running pretty comfortable. He's going to go around Raikkonen, putting him a lap down. And Raikkonen's also been passed by both of the Aston Martins, who are now up to 10th and 11th. I believe Raikkonen probably came into pit or something then, because, yeah, I must assume that. Oh, and now fastest lap being put down by Sergio Perez. And That's a really quick lap, under 140. That's the first time anybody's been under 140 today. Leclerc's into pit, a 2.2 pit stop by them, so pretty decent pace on that pit stop. And now Bottas, I believe, still has to pit. Hamilton, Bottas, and Tsunoda are all the cars that still need to pit. But as he runs right now, Bottas is in 5th position, and if he were to pit, he would come out right around 7th or 8th or 9th, right in that little window. So Bottas has not made up very much ground at all during this race after having to get that start P9 after a penalty. And Mercedes is going to really want him to pick up some pace here for that owner's battle here. Because Hamilton will probably still come home with a top 3 result, but Verstappen and Perez are going to be taking 2 of the spots on the podium, I'm almost certain. And you definitely don't want Bottas coming home in like P9 or P8 if you're Mercedes. So here we are now. Almost only 22 laps to go still. Verstappen's closed the gap down to Hamilton, down to almost 15 seconds. So now that would mean the interval for Hamilton from Verstappen after Hamilton's pit would probably be about 5 seconds. So I believe we're probably going to see Hamilton come into pit in the next 2 laps. Tsunoda is battling Raikkonen now for 11th position. Raikkonen looking to get by him. And now both the Aston Martins are into the top 10 after having to make a lot of progress today after having tough starts. Man, I'm really thinking Hamilton's going to have to pit here because Perez is also gaining a bit of ground on Hamilton, and you don't want Hamilton to have a slightly slow pit stop and then come out in 3rd position behind Perez, and that would pretty much seal his fate. The last lap, Verstappen was over a second quicker than Hamilton. So, yeah, I think Hamilton's got to pit here soon. You do have to think, if Verstappen's pushing it here, is that really the bright idea? Because he's going to have to pit. Or, I mean, he doesn't have to pit again, but he's got to stretch these tires a long ways. Yuki Tsunoda makes a move on the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. Bottas is in the pit with a 2.3 second pit stop. That was a pretty clean stop there. And he's going to drop down to at least 7th. Is he going to get passed by Norris is the question. Norris had a slow pit stop, and yep, now Bottas is going to come out in P7 ahead of Norris by just a couple seconds. And he'll be only a couple seconds behind Sainz. So definitely we could see Bottas picking up a position and moving up to 6th. Now it's quite a gap from Bottas to Ricciardo, who's in 5th. So I don't think we're going to see Bottas get 5th, but definitely can move up to the 6th position. Yeah, now it's down to 13 seconds, the gap between Hamilton and Verstappen. I think you're really going to have to see Hamilton come into pit here soon, or else he may be too far back to make up the ground to Verstappen on the final run of the race. Anyways, Schumacher's in the pit. He'll drop back down to the 18th position. So still only one DNF today, and that is Casley, who's going out for mechanical or suspension failure. This last time by, Verstappen was slower in Sector 1 by almost a tenth, but it seems that that is where Verstappen is quicker in Sector 3, especially over Hamilton, it seems. So now it seems Hamilton's pulling the gap out on Perez in third by just a bit, which is pretty important because that way he'll come out of his pit stop and still be ahead of Perez. But now Hamilton, that gap is just shrinking between him and Verstappen. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up after he finally comes into pit. Hamilton, that gap. Yeah, only 9 cars still on the lead lap here. So yeah, these Hamilton and Verstappen really putting a pace down today. And 19 laps to go in this race. Oh boy. I'm nervous. I'm wanting Hamilton to get the win to keep the championship battle close. But right now, oh yikes. Oh, the Mercedes guys are going out. That means Hamilton may be coming in this lap. I assume he will. Yep, and he makes his way onto pit road. And here comes Hamilton into his pit stall. Is this going to be a clean stop? It's got to be. Tires are off. Tires are on. Jack is dropped. And that was a 2.4. 3/10 quicker than Verstappen's stop. But yeah, so pretty clean stop by Hamilton here. He's going to relinquish the lead. And he should come out ahead of Perez. And yeah, he's still got now Verstappen has an almost 10-second lead over Hamilton. It's going to cycle through to be about 8 seconds. Yeah, now it's 8.7 seconds. So now Hamilton's got 18 laps to make up 8.5 seconds, nearly 9 seconds on Verstappen. So that's quite the task. He cannot afford any mistakes. He's got a big margin back from him to Perez, but yeah, but the big thing is Verstappen has a flood of lapped cars to go through that are all battling pretty hard just ahead of him. He's got Gio, Alonso, Raikkonen, and Tsunoda. And Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Gio, and the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen and Alonso. I just totally butchered that. But you got 4 cars who are all battling within about 2 seconds of each other for the 10th through 14th spot, and they're all right in front of the leader, Max Verstappen. So you may anticipate those guys are going to slow down Verstappen just a bit here, and that's going to help Hamilton. But Hamilton still's got a lot of ground to make up to try and catch Verstappen. So far this lap, the gap has maintained the distance, but it's been his first pit stop since his first lap since his pit stop, so I wouldn't expect a huge difference yet. I'd be the next lap once the tires are a bit ready or a bit worn in. I expect a better lap time. Oh, now it's down to 8.5, 3/10 all of a sudden gone. I mean, this traffic is honestly, I think, going to be a big issue for Verstappen. Yeah, because you got some good battling going on here. You got guys swapping positions every lap. Tsunoda, Raikkonen, and Alonso for 10th, 11th, and 12th. But that's not what you want Verstappen to see as he's right behind him. Verstappen may be able to get past Gio this time down the back straightaway. He's on him. Is he going to send it in turn 12? Gio's obviously just going to let him go by. And that's one of these 4 cars Verstappen's gotten by. Now it's under 8.5 seconds, at least at the moment for Hamilton. We'll have to see at the end of the lap how much he's gained. At the start of the lap, it was 8.9 seconds. Vettel's in the pit from the 9th position. And he may even cycle out and be in this battle as well. We'll have to see where he comes out of his pit box. Or he's still in the pit stop, so never mind. I don't know. I guess he's not. And at the stripe, it is now down to 8.4 seconds. So last time by, Hamilton knocked off 5 tenths. But in the 3rd sector, Hamilton was 2 tenths slower. So that's a big deal. Even though he was able to pick up a half a second, he lost 2 tenths in one of the sectors. So he's definitely a lot faster than Max in one sector, but in the sector 3, that's where he's been struggling compared to the Red Bull this whole weekend.
So once again, then Lewis, he can let him go down the inside of the hairpin, and he hasn't. Doesn't Hamilton now get DRS going down this track straight because he was within a second of Sebastian Vettel through that detection zone? Yes, he does. That compensates for Hamilton being held up and gives him 14 miles an hour extra top speed by the end of the straight.
And now Hamilton goes around Vettel down the back straightaway, and that's good. He got some DRS there. That's going to help him pick up some time. But right now, I don't see Hamilton catching Verstappen. I think they kept him out on the track just a bit too long.
Lewis Hamilton, he is the 6-time winner on US soil.
Yeah, right now the Red Bulls in 1st and 3rd, and the Mercedes in 2nd and 7th. The Mercedes definitely going to want Bottas to move up to at least 6th or 5th position to get that team to get the manufacturer more points. And that last time by, or in sector 3, that time by, Hamilton was a half a second quicker than Verstappen in sector 3 alone. Wow. Oh, man, this could be crazy down the stretch. Hamilton's definitely going to be able to reel in Verstappen, but will he be able to get close enough to make a pass, get into DRS? He's still got to make up 8 seconds. Hamilton just set a fastest sector 1. Now the gap from Hamilton to Verstappen, 7.3 seconds. Oh, it's getting closer and closer. And Red Bull still has, and Verstappen still has not cleared those 3 cars I mentioned before, Tsunoda, Raikkonen, and Gio, who were all battling earlier. Alonso did make a pit stop. He was one of those cars battling, so that's going to allow him 1 free pass by. And now Hamilton sets a fastest sector 2, so he's been purple in both sector 1 and sector 2. Will he be able to set the fastest lap of the day? 15 laps to go. And Hamilton sets a fastest lap of 1:38. That's almost 7 tenths quicker than Perez's previous fastest lap of the day. That is some pace right there. Now it's down to 6, wow, almost 2 seconds faster than Verstappen last time by. Oh my goodness, that was a blinding lap he had, but now he's going to have to work his way around Gio to get around him on lap traffic. It looks like an Alpine slow on the track. Esteban Ocon is going to be the second car to retire this car. And Mazepin has received the black and white flag. And the black and white flag for Raikkonen as well. But yeah, that's it for Ocon. And so now there are 2 cars out of this race. 1 AlphaTauri and 1 Alpine. And this time by 6/10 quicker, Hamilton was in Sector 2. And he set a new personal best in Sector 2 for consecutive laps. And now Tsunoda's let Verstappen through, and now that is 2 cars that Verstappen's cleared, and he's basically probably going to not have to deal with any more lap traffic the rest of the way. Sainz looking to make a move on Ricciardo for the 5th position. They may have made slight contact there. We're going to have to see there. That looks like just ever so slight. Doesn't look like either one of them has too much damage. We're going to definitely want to see a replay of that. I'm not sure whose fault that is. Let's see that again. Hamilton's gotten the gap down to under 4.5 seconds. Man. McLaren is only, right as they run, only 1.5 points ahead of Ferrari in the constructors. And if Sainz can complete this pass on Ricciardo, it would temporarily move Ferrari to the top, or well, ahead of McLaren. Just some slight contact. Well, Sainz is saying they did that on purpose. We'll have to see. I don't know about that, but this will probably be investigated by the FIA. I don't think we'll get any penalty out of this contact here, but I mean, Sainz definitely has a bit more pace than Ricciardo. He's in the DRS range once again. I definitely think we'll see him get around him. But these guys have been battling, and it's allowed Bottas to close up on both of them. He's only about 1.5 seconds off this battle for 5th. So that is a bit of damage, though, as a result for Sainz. That may slow him down a bit. We'll have to see how much that really impacts him. Hamilton's gotten the gap down to 4.3 seconds. 12 laps still to go in this race. And so now Hamilton's going to get DRS this time by because he's going to be going around Tsunoda. Let's see how much time that allows him to pick up on Verstappen. But after he gets around Tsunoda, there'll be no cars between Hamilton and Verstappen for the time being. So it's just going to be about who can put down the faster lap times. And I find it very unlikely that they'll catch Lando Norris before this thing's over. Yep, this time by Hamilton was 3/10 quicker than Verstappen in Sector 2. Man, this is, oh boy, this is getting close. It's getting close. Under a 4-second gap between Hamilton and Verstappen with 11 to go. Last lap, Hamilton 4/10 quicker than Verstappen. And you're going to really, if Verstappen's really going to start to struggle, I think, once this thing gets down to the last couple laps, because Verstappen's going to have to go, I believe, almost 20, what was it, about 25 laps, if not more, on these hard tires, which is really going to be forced to make those tires stretch. Yeah, Verstappen down that long back straightaway. He may even be able to see Hamilton in his mirrors at this point. Now the gap's under 3.8 seconds. Oh, boy. And Hamilton right now does have the fastest lap. So if Hamilton's able to move past Verstappen and Verstappen comes back P2, that would, I believe, give Hamilton what that would move Hamilton to the lead in the championship, as well as give him, I believe, a 4-point or a 3-point lead over Verstappen going into the next round. And Bottas is hounding Sainz now for that 6th position. That he'll be in DRS range possibly now down the back straightaway as well. Let's see. So you can be close enough. It's going to be close. Oh, we're going to see here in a second off the exit turn 11. It looks like Bottas had a clear exit. Is the DRS window open for him? No, not this time, but definitely will, I think, be open here soon. Last time by, Hamilton almost a half a second faster. The gap is down to 3.2 seconds. And now you can really see Bottas closing up on the bumper of Sainz. And with 10 to go in this race, if Bottas is able to make a good pass on Sainz, he may even be able to get past the Honey Badger for 5th. Appreciate anybody watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you're enjoying it. And now the gap is under 3 seconds for the first time. Hamilton. Oh, boy, this is this. Yeah, it's just getting closer and closer. With 10 laps to go, I'm going to be pretty surprised if Verstappen is going to be able to hold on to this gap over Hamilton. Oh, yeah, you can definitely see that damage that Sainz got from the contact with the Cota. Not terrible damage, but just ever so slightly that right front wing, the right front part of the wing is just scraping the ground. But Bottas, I believe, is within DRS range now. Sainz down the back straightaway. He's not going to get close enough to complete a pass into turn 12. But, I mean, he's just getting closer every lap. The gap is 2.6 seconds now from Verstappen to Hamilton.
Yeah, I think that's what we wish they had gone. It's longer on those tyres, so they're not quite so exposed, but Verstappen punching in personal best, but they're nowhere near faster. The answer is
It's now almost, it's under 2.6 seconds now, almost 2.5 seconds the gap from Verstappen to Hamilton. Oh, this is going to be a nail biter down to the end. 9 to go. Bottas looked to maybe possibly make a move up the hill, but decided to back out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if next time by he looks to make a move. Or on the this time down the back straightaway, he looks to finally make a move on Sainz. It seems through the sweeping S's that Bottas isn't able to make up as much ground. He's actually losing ground, but definitely on the straightaways, it seems to be that he's picking up the ground on Sainz. Yeah, Hamilton can see Verstappen straight ahead of him down the long straightaways. Gap's under 2.5 seconds now with 8 laps to go. Last time by, Hamilton 0.3 quicker. If he goes 0.3 quicker every lap from here to the finish, he would be literally right on top of Verstappen. So we'll have to see. Oh boy, because he'll get DRS before that. So at this pace, if he's averaging about 0.3 a lap quicker or 0.4 a lap quicker, that would mean he would be in DRS in about 5 laps or so, and that would leave him about 3 laps to make a pass. Oh boy. Some big gainers today. Vettel and Alonso both picked up 6 spots. Raikkonen's picked up 5 spots, and now he's in 10th position, positioning himself to get 1 point today. Solid job by Raikkonen. Russell's also picked up 5 spots after starting in last. But no change for position within the top 6 from the start of this race, other than, as they run at least. It's now 2.2 seconds the gap from Verstappen to Hamilton. Wow, the driver of the day poll is really close right now. It's only 14% for Verstappen and 12% for Hamilton and 10% for Sainz in third. So that's really low percentages wise, at least. I mean, usually you see about somebody with a 20% or 30% of the vote. Yeah, Verstappen's tires are 8 laps older than Hamilton's, and by the end of this race, Verstappen will have run, I believe, he'll have run 26 laps on those tires, which is almost half the race on one set. And Hamilton he'll have run 18 laps on his tires, which is astronomically less. The gap is under 2 seconds now from Hamilton Verstappen. Black and white flag has been displayed to Stroll. It's 1.8 seconds, the gap at the moment from Verstappen to Hamilton. Oh boy, yeah, it was 7 laps to go. There's still a lot of action to be had. Oh boy. Oh boy, 6 to go. Last time by, Hamilton only 0.2 quicker than Verstappen, so maybe their tires are evening out a bit. We'll have to see. This definitely could be a nail biter, though, coming to the end. What are they going to collide, though, is the question here coming to the finish. Yikes. Verstappen and Gio battling for the 11th position. I mean, not for Vettel and Gio battling for the 11th position. It looks like Vettel has the faster car right now. He'll be looking to get around Gio. And if he can get around Gio, Vettel may be in position to get past Raikkonen for that 10th spot and pick up a point. It really is unbelievable, the margin today between Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, the Red Bull, the Mercedes, the Ferrari, and the McLaren, and the rest of the field. They have an over almost a minute gap between those all 8 of those cars and the rest of the field, which would be Tsunoda in 9th. I mean, that is really unbelievable. And the gap is almost 1.5 seconds from Verstappen to Hamilton right now. Oh boy.
So it's 4:10 minutes. So 2 more laps, and he'll be in drag reduction system, rear wing open.
Only a couple more laps, and Lewis Hamilton will be in position to get into DRS. Last time by, 3.5 tenths quicker.
down the back straight from 11 to 12.
5 to go. 5 to go. Oh boy.
You can press the red button to watch highlights of the race alongside the live action. But trust me, you don't want to take your eyes off the live action for 1 second here. We're watching Sebastian.
Verstappen actually pulls the gap out a bit on Hamilton this time by 1.8 seconds. Oh, and Fernando Alonso also having to retire today. That is both the Alpines. And this is a bad weekend for Alpine in the U.S. Both of their cars going out. That now means that there are 3 cars out of today's race: Alonso, Ocon, and Gasly.
So far, Verstappen's at 10 lap on Hamilton on this lap. Now he's in the turbulent air. Wow. He needs DRS.
Man, this is big. Right now, Hamilton's being caught in the dirty air of Verstappen, and he can no longer pull up the gap. Right now, I think the edge is definitely to Verstappen, not only because he's in the lead, but he's got the dirty air. I guess dirty air decided to go from NASCAR to F1 as well. So last time by, Verstappen was 2 tenths quicker than Hamilton. Now with 4 to go in the race. Oh boy.
Just to give you something, is Hamilton going on a bit more recharge to have a bit more in the battery at the end? We know this spot.
Hamilton seems to pull in the gap just slightly to Verstappen. This bit, still only maybe about a tenth. We're gonna have to see down the long straightaway, the back straightaway, how things go. If he can move up, make up more ground.
Sector, but a good point there from Paul as to whether Hamilton is, I think, like we see qualifying, whether you have to charge the battery up fully and give it plenty. But again, middle sector, Verstappen faster. So this lap, even Stevens. 23 times in the past, Verstappen and Hamilton have finished 1 and 2 in a Formula 1.
And now it's 1 point. If the gap is growing again. So now Vettel's moved up past Gio for the 11th position, and now he'll set his eyes on Raikkonen, who's only 2 seconds ahead of him, and he may be able to get into the points. Now the gap's almost up to 2 seconds between Verstappen and Hamilton. You're looking like Verstappen may be able to hold on.
Two amazing drivers, and Verstappen is beginning to pull it back out again. Has Verstappen just kept enough in hand? It was coming down to the last 3 laps. That is what.
Oh boy. Last time by was still a tenth quicker, but now it looks like Verstappen, Hamilton's closing in.
I'm sure Hamilton's race engineer is doing exactly the same for him. You see the blinking lights of the battery is charged, not the braking going into the hairpin. Now he's going to get on the power. As Hamilton does that, Bottas tries to make him move on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we saw Lewis really struggling to get the car turned.
Oh, yellow flag in sector 1. Now the green flag is back out. Oh, it's Raikkonen off track. And that's going to allow Vettel to get that 10th spot. And now Vettel's in position to get a point. So now Raikkonen's back to 12th. And he gets passed by Vettel and his teammate Gio. Oh, he just spun it out. But gets back on track. Now 3 laps to go. It's a 1.5-second gap from Verstappen to Hamilton. Oh boy, this is going to be a close one down to the finish. Oh boy. Oh boy. Will Hamilton be able to get close enough to get into DRS range? It's going to be so close. And will Bottas finally be able to get around Sainz, who's been pursuing for so long? Oh, he's right on his bumper, but he's not going to be there. This time, in Sector 1, Hamilton was 1.5 tenths quicker than Verstappen. Now down the back straightaway, the gap's only about a second. Still not quite in DRS range. Oh, it looks like Verstappen got a cleaner exit off turn 11. He's going to pull out the gap on Hamilton down the back straightaway just a bit. But now that top end speed of the Mercedes kicking in, and Hamilton closing it down almost under a second. 1 second and a tenth is the gap now between Verstappen and Hamilton. Oh boy, things are getting close. Oh, he's trying, but you may be wondering Hamilton's pushing it too hard and overcooking the tires, skidding here and there ever so slightly, losing bits of time. The gap is so close to second. Can Hamilton get within DRS range is the question. We're coming up on 2 to go. It's 1.1 last time by in Sector 2. Hamilton almost 3 tenths quicker than Verstappen. Now down the main straightaway. 2 to go in the race. The gap is 1.1 seconds. They are so far away from the rest of the field. Will Hamilton be able to get into DRS range in the next back straightaway? Hamilton's closing down the gap. Now it's 1 second and a half a tenth. Now it's under a second for the first time. And forever, the first time in this race. Oh, but now Verstappen pulls it out to 1.1 seconds. The Red Bull's been faster in the S's, and he pulls out the gap once again. Now the gap's almost 1.3 seconds. That was a bad set of turns for Hamilton there. That was really bad. That may have been his shot at the win there. That was an amazing job by Verstappen, and he may have just won the race right there with 2 to go. Now he's got a second and a half gap from him to Hamilton. It's going to be very hard for Hamilton to get into DRS still with only about a lap and a half to go. Schumacher's just ahead of Verstappen. Is he going to be able to get out of the way easily, or is he going to cause some dirty air effect? But the Haas car is still in the front of Verstappen. Will he be able to move out of the way? The gap's 1.1 seconds. It seems as though Hamilton's playing in the gap a bit more. Now the Haas car finally gets out of the way of Verstappen. But now will the Haas car get in the way of Lewis? We're going to have to see here. The gap is under a second at the moment. It's 8 tenths, and we are on the final lap. Is Hamilton going to be able to be close enough to get into DRS on this last lap? I don't know. I don't think he will. I think Verstappen's going to put together a beautiful lap here once again in the S's. Hamilton close to the gap 3 tenths that time by. It's under a second, but I think Verstappen's going to hold on to it through the S's for the final time. Oh, he's trying. He's trying. Oh, both these guys are pushing so hard. Lewis can literally see Verstappen standing right in front of him. And Verstappen sets the fastest Sector 1 of the race. This time now into the turn 11. Will Hamilton be within DRS? Bottas has gotten by Sainz for 6th, but Hamilton will not be within DRS range, and it looks like Verstappen's going to be able to hold on down the back straightaway. This may be it for Verstappen. He may be able to hold on and get this win here. Now through turn 12 for the final time. Lewis is going to be given everything he's got to try and get to the bumper of that Red Bull Verstappen, who's only maybe a half a second ahead of him. I mean, literally like 5 or 10 car lengths. Oh, boy. Now under a second, but it looks like it's it for Lewis Hamilton. He's given it all he's gotten, and he's had a tremendous drive today. But it's not going to be enough. The gap now under 9 tenths, into the final turn, off turn 4. Verstappen's going to win the race. And that is it for the USGP. And Verstappen gets the job done. Well, that was An unbelievable finish. Now, guys, we're probably going to just cut it there and switch back to the Cup Series race. But I appreciate anybody who watched today.